Welcome to Music Detectives. I'm Detective Tom. Conway has made the move to Decca Records and try his hand at country music. First thing, hat or no hat? No hat. Oddly enough, there are more pictures of him in a cowboy hat in his rock years than his country years. Time to investigate the beginnings of a country legend. Let's do a label lowdown. Decca Records started in 1929. Yes, 1929. By British businessman Sir Edward Lewis. Decca would be established in the United States in 1934. The Decca name dates back to 1914 to the portable gramophone, or record player, the Decca phone. The Decca name was invented by linguist Wilfrid Samuel by merging the word Mecca with the initial D of their logo. He chose it as it was easy to pronounce in many languages. The company was renamed to Decca and then sold to Edward Lewis. Decca would span many genres during its run: classical, jazz, rock, and country. They would also sign some big names as well, including Bing Crosby, the Rolling Stones, the Moody Blues, Burl Ives, Bill Anderson, and Loretta Lynn, known as the Decca Doll. The country and western line for Decca was started by Jack Kapp in 1934 by signing Frank Luther, known for his kid songs, and the Sons of the Pioneers, along with some others. Starting in the late 40s, the country roster of Decca was growing large, with Kitty Wells, Ernest Tubb, the Wilburn Brothers, and many more. The main driving force behind Decca's success in country music was Owen Bradley, who joined Decca in 1947. In 1958, Owen would become vice president of Decca's Nashville division and start to produce big country acts that would make him one of the main architects behind the Nashville sound. Bradley started at Conquest Hut Studio, sold it to Columbia, and then bought a farm in 1961 and converted it into a studio. It would eventually be known as Bradley's Barn. In 1980, the famous landmark burnt to the ground, but it was rebuilt within a few years in the same spot. Decca would start a rivalry with RCA Records as the top label for country music, and then Decca would eventually merge with MCA in 1962. Later, the Decca name would be dropped in the United States in 1973.
Now it's time for a Music Detective's detailed inspection.
Conway's first country single was Together Forever and That Kind of Girl, released in late summer of 1965. Now, both songs would be greeted by a Cashbox review, giving both songs a B+. To kick off Conway Going Country, Decca's Dallas branch would hold a contest around That Kind of Girl. This contest, pageant, would select different girls from each school. The local winners would get autographed photos and more, with the grand prize winner getting a trip to Nashville to watch Conway record some music, and a $500, that's $4,000 today, finishing and modeling scholarship. Anybody know who won the contest? Let me know in the comments below. Let's take a closer look at the 45. We'll start off with the sleeve. It's a nice big bold Decca displayed on the top, and their man holding the globe on the bottom. The back doesn't promote any artists. It showcases instruments, phonographs, and radios. At the bottom is the Arrow Decca logo and a note that it's a division of MCA, which happened before Conway got there. Now on the dead wax, the area between where the song ends and the label starts, we can see a bunch of numbers. We see a 2 off by its lonesome. It represents the pressing plant. Decca had 2 pressing plants. One, or should I say number 1, in Gloversville, New York, that's northwest of Albany, and number 2 in Penickneyville, Illinois, southeast of St. Louis. Well, since this record has the 2, we know it was pressed in Illinois. Next, you see the 45 for the recording speed of this record, followed by 116198, which is the internal catalog number for That Kind of Girl. And finally, a 3, which likely means it was the third plate they made for creating records in the press. Decca's 45 records would have this rainbow stripe across its center, along with the Decca name, alternating colors. We saw this with NGM, ABC Paramount, now Decca, and then later with MCA. Conway seems to like rainbows. Heck, he spent time at Warner Brothers. They weren't into a rainbow theme. No matter. He released an album called Chasing Rainbows. Okay, I'm getting way too ahead of myself. But seriously, all this rainbow stuff has an advertising agenda behind it. You see, rainbows mean inclusion. Heck, that's why it's still heavily used in logos today.